three titans in our world right now: Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, and Candace Owens, for all different reasons. Are they all on the same team, the same side? Or are they pulling in different directions? For me, I see them as pulling in different directions, but they might be wearing the same jersey at this point. Is there going to be a collaboration between these three? I would like to see it. I don't know about you. These three are the ones that are, for me, the most interesting people on the planet right now. Right now. I mean, Donald Trump is his own thing. He's always kind of out there. He's kind of on the side, but so you got to account for him. But these three, for different reasons, are like always getting attention. And it seems like they're the representation of the right now. And they're the ones that are always causing this civil war to stir up. Everybody's at each other's necks. It's just like there's so much dust everywhere. We don't know what's real at this point. We don't know. Because I look back and I see Charlie Kirk. He was the glue that held everything together. And it sounds weird to even bring this up, like to say he's the glue holding everything together, because we know the one who really is holding everything together is Jesus Christ. He's the one putting this world intact and keeping all of our molecules together. But it seems like Charlie Kirk, ever since he died, the world has not been the same. And these three have had their words to say about it, and they look at the assassination that happened, not an assassination attempt, and they come away with majorly different points of view. I want to, first of all, dive into Tucker Carlson, because out of these three, he's the one that I see as the biggest elephant in the room, the biggest, monkey in charge. 300, 800-pound gorilla, as Megyn Kelly said. That's kind of the visual I have, because he whops on Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens. And as we can see, the ratings that have come out about Tucker Carlson are just outstanding, insane, ridiculous. But first of all, I want to actually look into this. Tucker Carlson just had a sit down with the New York Times. I hope you check this out.
You spend a day with Trump and sort of like you're in this kind of dreamland. It's like smoking hash or something. It's interesting. Very interesting.
I'm Lulu Garcia Navarro, and I'm in Maine to interview Tucker Carlson. For many years, Carlson was one of President Trump's most vocal supporters.
I mean, I've always agreed with Trump's policies, always. And here I am with a full-throated, utterly sincere endorsement of Donald Trump.
But recently, Carlson has publicly broken with Trump. He's not only come out against Trump's decision to go to war with Iran.
This is the single most foolish thing any American president has ever done.
He now says he regrets supporting the president.
We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be.
And then also the ratings are ridiculous for him. Check this out. So Tucker Carlson Network posted, Tucker Carlson broke cable news ratings records at Fox, and today he's reached multiples of that audience independently at 56.8 million views per episode across social media and podcast platforms. And you can see it right there. Tucker Carlson Network sees historic growth as audience flock to independent coverage of the Iran war. 56.8 million. In comparison, you can see his last year or in prime time when he was at Fox in 2020, 5.3 million views compared to 56.8 million views. Everything has shifted. It's no longer just your cable news network. And then you can see this, the average currently of the most primetime viewers at Fox, April 2026, 3.2 million. Absolutely bonkers that he has been able to gain so much attention. He is incredible, I would say this, but he's also very dangerous, what he is doing. Because out of these three, I see Tucker Carlson as the most reasonable, rational person of them, who's come to all of this with a coherent perspective, which makes sense. And it makes sense why he's garnering so much attention, more than Candace, more than Nick Fuentes. It's because he speaks reasonably into this storm of chaos that we are in, that everybody is picking a side. Are you for the Iran war? Are you not? Are you against it? The underpinning of everything, of all of this, is Israel. And that is what's coming more and more flourishing to the forefront of everyone's mind. Everybody is basing their worldview of how they interpret politics how they interpret geopolitical warfare, of what we should be doing as the United States based on your viewpoint of Israel. It's actually utterly insane to me that it's come this far, that people are so divided on this issue. I think the reasonable people don't care about Israel as much as the crazies. Because once you get into it, this is like before I got into politics, before I got into caring about politics, and even now, I've always, way back before I did this, but even now, I don't understand why people get so upset, people on the other side. I've never understood that. I didn't understand that before I got into it. I remember sending my uncle and giving him a birthday card way back in the day. And he was a pretty staunch Democrat. He cared about Democratic thing, and I knew that. I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know it was a big deal to not bring up politics. But I gave him a birthday card, and it referenced something like that, here, I wanted to give you a cake, but I had to give to the 90% people, and here's what's left, 10% for you, based on, kind of just distribution of wealth. And he kind of giggled and laughed, and I didn't know it was such a big deal. But it is. People care, and they get so up in arms about politics. That has shifted now, and it's on Israel. What your viewpoint of Israel determines a lot of people's viewpoint of you. You could say Trump is like that as well. People look at him and how you view him. Are you standing for the president? I've never been like that myself. I've never been like that where I need to, this is my identity. My identity is Republican. My identity is Trump. My identity is Israel. For me, my identity is Jesus Christ, period. And everything else like that, we're just going along to get along. You can have passionate viewpoints about things. That's great. But it seems like more and more people are dividing over these things. And I don't know if it's just crazy because the internet has just taken it over where it seems like everybody is nutso on the internet. It seems, and I go back and forth for me because I think, well, this is the more interesting world, the internet of watching videos as opposed to just regular life. And you just get sucked into it because it's I want to check out of this matrix and get into the real world, which is the internet, that's probably backwards. It's probably so backwards. But it's it's fun. It's entertaining on this world, as opposed to regular life can seem kind of monotonous and boring at times. It doesn't seem as exciting. But maybe that's the twisted nature that I have. Maybe you have a little bit of it as well. I've just seen that Tucker Carlson, he's what I kind of want to focus on at first, because, and this is another clip that of that sit down that he had with the New York Times. There's been a lot of little clips that have come out. I want to watch the whole thing beginning to end, but the clips that have come out have been pretty insane. Let's check this one out. This is regarding the Antichrist and Tucker Carlson calling Trump the Antichrist.
What I was saying, which is you cannot mock other people's gods and put yourself in their place, period. That is a deal killer for me. That's worse than the war with Iran, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I ask because, you've been talking on your show about whether Trump is the Antichrist.
I have not said that.
On your show, the day after Easter, you noted he did not put his hand on the Bible during his swearing-in ceremony as president. You said, and I'm quoting, maybe he didn't put his hand on the Bible because he affirmatively rejects what's inside that book. And then on a recent show, you went further saying, here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist?
I actually did not say, could this be the Antichrist?
Here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist? Well, who knows?
I don't know where that comes from, but I know that those words never left my lips because I'm not sure I fully understand what the Antichrist is. If there's just one, I actually tried to understand it. I may have said some are asking that. I'm not weighing on.
Well, we clearly saw that he brought it up. He did say it. But I mean, Tucker's getting up in age. I've had my head rattled a couple of times, so I can't remember yesterday. I have to really think about what happened yesterday. What happened earlier this morning? So when you talk for a living, you say a lot of things, this is another thing was pretty insane to me when he brought up that he ad-libs everything, which is wild. This is bonkers to me. Check this out.
of publicly breaking with the president?
So I will say, I don't do monologues. That's ad lib. So that's just, I didn't write it. I don't have notes. It's just like, that's how I feel. So it's probably not as coherent as it should be.
I did not realize that. I thought he was reading off a prompter whenever he was going. I thought he was actually just, the way he starts off his show, his monologues, because we know like Jesse Waters and him doing on Fox, like they're going off a prompter. I mean, I always just assumed that Tucker was at least reading what he wrote, not necessarily like that someone else wrote it for him, but I thought he was reading it because the way he goes through and he weaves things together so well, which is pretty good. That's good stuff. I did not realize that. I mean, that's almost leads into the Nick Fuentes vibe because we obviously know that there's no, I don't know if there's ever been a prompter with Nick Fuentes. And I just love the history of all these people. These three individuals are just like increasingly more and more on my mind. I think I just get into fixes into like certain people. Those are the ones that I want to develop my content around. Those are the ones that I'm thinking about. Those are the ones that are like lightning rods. For me, for a while back, I did like every video about Alex O'Connor. Every video I was making because he was just like the points of view that he was espousing. I wanted to challenge him. It's not like you can listen to someone all the time, and it doesn't mean that you are just that you like them a lot, but you don't agree with everything that they say. And this is like kind of the rub with me that people think that just because that you're a fan of someone, that you have to believe and like die on a hill for everything that they say. Like, be your own person. Like, seriously, do you really, like, just because you like Tucker Carlson a lot or you like Candace Owens a lot, do you have to, like, defend them? Like, you're, like, stepping in, like, in front of a bullet for them or something like that? Like, everything that they do is, like, gold and pure. Like they're speaking the words of God? Like, you can disagree even if you seriously like someone. Because that's, for me, I listen to these three a lot. And there's probably not any more people in the world that I disagree with more than these three people. And I agree with them on certain things, but like the majority of my viewpoint, I can be more refined and defined on what it is that I disagree with them on. Because it's just like, be your own person. It has turned into, even though people accuse Donald Trump of being like, if you're not loyal to me, get out of here. I don't want to see your face. Because that has been kind of like how Donald Trump is. Because everyone turns on him. At some point, everyone turns on him. It seems like. Mainly women. A lot of times it's women. And then they go write a book and sell a book and all this. But even guys, because I think it's like when you get a little bit further away from them, or away from him, it's like you start thinking, oh, I am a conscious living soul. I can think clearly. Because that you get mesmerized in their presence. But this is what I see so many people on the internet doing. Just because you like someone doesn't mean that everything that they do and say, you have to fight blood, tooth, and nail for. That's kind of like where I'm going with this. Because the people like the Groypers and the people that are for Tucker Carlson, he's getting a lot of massive views and audience attention. But it's like the people that are like that go in waves, like have to storm the Capitol. I'm going to fight for him. Like he said, everything was perfect. You can't disagree, or or we're going to call you out. Like, are you a bot? Are you a bot? Are you an NPC, sir? Are you living? Check your pulse. Or on the other side of the screen, check your pulse. Are you real? Are you fake? Like, seriously, wake up, sir. Wake up. Don't be a fake, stupid idiot. Like, be real. Don't buy into this. Don't be absorbed into the machine that you have to just defend whoever it is that you think you're defending, because they don't know your name. Do you realize that? The people that you're dying on a hill for, they don't know your name. And really, they don't care. And like, that's the mind shift that has to go with everyone. I like Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't know my name. So I'm not going to defend everything he says like it's the words of Jesus. It's not. Everybody is just real, regular people. They have things that they believe are correct, and they have things they believe that are wrong. And we're hopefully evolving to come to a righter, more correct position in what we believe and think. And that's what we're sharing with everyone. But it's like so many people are just like they feel like bots. And maybe it is that they are bots. Maybe because there are so many just AI, like AI is just like completely flooded the internet. You don't know who it is. because I go back and forth when I think about like the identification on anything you post or tweet, or comment on. Does that have to be your name? I guess there is that level of protection that people need to have, because if they're not protected, they can't speak anonymously. Then they feel like they can't really speak. But at this point, the government knows who you are anyways, whether you're anonymous or not. The government knows who you are. So it's like, who are we really protecting? Every person, I would go for this. Whoever's posting anything on the internet, you need your picture, your identification. And I'm not, maybe like that's crazy, I think I'm just getting the Tucker Carlson vibe where you just get heated, you get flooded with, adrenaline, and you're not speaking coherently or clearly. I do that. I agree. Because that is a good point, because that I've made to myself. I agree with you, Brandon. I agree with you. That was a good point, because what you think right now might not be what you think in 5 minutes from now, or 10 minutes from now, or a year from now, because everybody's changing. We're not all the same. And I think so many people think that their identity is in their political position. That's what they are. I want to move over actually to Nick Fuentes and what he has been saying. And whenever I looked up Candace Owens as well, right when, it seems like Nick is trying to get back into the good graces of Candace Owens. And this is so Candace just put out, well, actually, let me jump over to what Candace put, because she tweeted out regarding the Daily Wire. I guess they had some layoffs. They let a lot of people go. She said, hearing that the Daily Wire laid off over 50% of their staff today, as much as I positively despise what their execs put me and my family through, there are a lot of good people that work there with families to feed who could use a prayer. I am a sensible, reasonable person, and I really extend charity to so many people. If someone says something, that's maybe why I'm a little bit naive and gullible, because at one point I see what Candace Owens does and says, and it seems like that she's being possessed by a demon. But then when she posts a picture or whatever of her going to her confirmation in a church, speaking the name of Christ, but it's like, just because you sometimes speak the name of Christ doesn't mean you're really speaking the name of Jesus Christ. You can sometimes just say his name, who are you really referring to? Because even Jesus said there will be a lot of Christs that come in my name. Like, who's the real Jesus that you're pointing people towards? And then she tweeted later, an update. I'm hearing it was more like 60% absolute bloodbath about the Daily Wire. And then let's check this out. This is what Nick Fuentes put on his show last night. I have not watched. See, I like listening to Nick Fuentes. I'm just I don't know. Okay, that sounded gay. All right. I like listening to Nick Fuentes, I usually save his videos till the next day, to watch, so I can watch it, and I don't even really ever really watch him. I just listen to him, and in the background, usually it's like, he's like ASMR to me, he's just kind of like he's somebody just doing the little things on the microphone. Really, it's just like background noise to me, because it's like, it's a comforting voice, you like, probably regular people out there are probably, are you insane? Nick Fuentes, the right-wing extremist, Christian white nationalist, that guy? Kind of. It's a weird deal. And the more I listen to him, the more I respect him. I don't necessarily agree with him. I probably disagree with him the more I listen to him, because that's the thing. Because we're our own people. We're not all the exact same. We're going to find out as we listen to people. We don't have to be like crazy nutsos, they're going to support everything that somebody says just because you might like them. But this is him responding to that about what Candace put out there.
Candace Owens, who worked at the company until 2024, also commented on the layoffs at her former employer. She hinted that at least 50% of the company staff was affected, and that is yet to be confirmed. She said, quote, hearing that the Daily Wire laid off over 50% of their staff today, as much as I positively despise what their executives put me and my family through, there are a lot of good people that work there with families to feed that could use a prayer. She's a beast, dude. She's a total. That's honestly quite gracious. You have to admit, that's pretty gracious for her to say that, because it's true. Daily Wire put her through hell. The shenanigans that went on. The way Daily Wire stalked her, sued her, and honestly, I'm not just simping. I'm not simping.
You are freaking simping, man. He is trying to get into her good graces. He has said some nasty things about Candace Owens. We cannot forget that. He has said some despicable, detestable things about Candace Owens. Don't forget that. Don't let that go. But I respect Nick because he's able to say these things. He says the craziest things out there. But then he understands we're just interneting too hard, that we're just saying things because we're on the internet. You know, we're not getting as much oxygen to our brain. We're in a room, we're closed in, and you just kind of lose yourself a little bit. And that's what he does. And he said some pretty nasty things about her. But he understands if he met with Candace Owens now, that it's like, we can sweep it under the rug. We can laugh about it. It's not the end of the world. It's not as serious as some people like to make it. But he is simping. He is simping.
Thing for Candace Owens, okay? Listen, I call balls and strikes. That's what we do here. Fair and balanced. Balanced as all things should be. Me and Candace, we've had our disagreements. I'm madly in love with her. She doesn't agree. It's okay. It is what it is. But let's just be honest. Daily Wire, this was super bizarre. Do you remember earlier in the year when Daily Wire had a Twitter account called The Candace Owens Show? And they created like a parody show after they fired her. And it was called The Candace Owens Show, and it used her face and likeness. And they were doing episodes every week. And the show, which was their intellectual property, and even featured like stuff they recorded with Candace, they were putting it out every week, just attacking her new show, her YouTube show, stuff like that. That's just like deranged. That's just total psychopath. That's just not normal. And only...
Yeah, I don't know. I did not notice all that, but I do understand what he's talking about regarding the Daily Wire are after her because Candace Owens she's a wizard. She's puts a spell on you. And I've said that before. And honestly, I say things and then I feel bad about them. That one really made me feel bad. Like whenever I go off camera, whenever I go off screen, I feel bad about some of the things I say because I don't want to misrepresent somebody. I don't want to just say, put something on them that's not really there. But that's how I felt because whenever I watch Candace Owens, I have felt like that, like I'm in a trance, like that. I not necessarily like I'm loving what I'm listening to. She just has that Howard Stern effect where, if you remember Howard Stern, the people that disagree or hate Howard Stern were the ones that were listening to him the hardest and for a lot more time. They couldn't turn him off because they couldn't. What's the next thing you're going to say? And I'm not like that with Candace Owens necessarily. There have been like things that I had to like step back, like, man, calm down. Don't like she doesn't have this power over you. She doesn't have this control over you. Let go. Let her go. Let her go, Jack. Let her go. That's how I felt. And I had to let her go. And I think I'm recouping. I feel like I need to go to an AA meeting. Hi, my name is Brandon. I'm a former Candace supporter or Candace, alcoholic person. She's caused irreparable harm to me in my mind. I don't know what to do from here. That's how I felt with her. Like I need to come out of the closet and just confess everything. Like I've said, at this point, I think I need to wear it as a badge of honor. I listen to her show. She's very interesting. I'm not caught up on everything, I don't listen to her live. I can't really listen to anyone live, honestly, because unless I'm watching a high speed chase, I don't like to listen to stuff live. I like to listen on the back end, and not know that, that they're live right now. It's kind of spooky. And I almost want to get the full context of what they've said as opposed to jumping in and not knowing how did we get here? At which point did we go off in this direction? Why are you talking about this, Candace? She's just, and I know I've jumped ahead to them, but there is kind of like a crossing of the streams between Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes. And then you throw Tucker Carlson into the mix and just there's just this toxic almost relationship that they have going, all three of them, because I see Candace Owens as kissing Tucker Carlson's ass so much. And Tucker Carlson saying, I love Candace Owens. And then Nick Fuentes saying that he can't stand Tucker Carlson. And then he's like having this sexual tension between him and Candace Owens. There's just so many different dynamics that are happening with these three. It's weird. Because it looked like all friendly fun and games when Nick Fuentes went on Tucker Carlson's show. And then within a week or two, pretty much a month, they completely fell off and they were just going at each other's necks. Nick I see as like almost a loyal person, like pretty much more loyal than these other two. But it's like if you cross him, he comes at you full like steam. He will not let up. He will punch you. He will stomp on your head when you're on the ground and make you look like a fool. He will. But he's doing it as performative, not necessarily what he really believes. He's just doing a show. Huzzah! But, you know, like, it's like he's a magician doing all these things, but he's not taking it seriously. He's not, because, like, he does and he doesn't. He does and he doesn't. You know, he loves me, he loves me not. He loves me, he loves me not. He takes it seriously, but he also knows that it's just the internet. It's just like people are saying crazy things. Like he goes back and forth like with his friend Sneeko so much like that when they were talking about each other. Like it's a game. And that's the weird thing about this, because some people look at this and they think it's the real deal. And some people look at it and they know it's fake. But there's a lot of in between. There's a lot of like mixture of both. It is kind of like, there was a weird time in my life. I remember like I used to like wrestling a lot. I still like wrestling. I just don't watch it as much as I used to. And I remember probably when I was in middle school, I don't know what it was. I just remember seeing something happen and I was really pissed off because Jeff Bagwell came out and he like had a neck brace on. He was in a wheelchair and someone like beat him and threw him to the ground. And I was like, what the heck, man? Looking back, I understand it was probably fake and set up. But at that time, and I think that is the kind of like the realization I'm having, most people are looking at these things, these podcasters going toe to toe, head to head, and they think it's the real deal. They think it's real. It's an illusion, just like Washington, just like I'm talking about, you know, Washington, D.C., or our Congress, you know, politics. They're all on the same side. They're all on the same side putting on a show, and then they're going off and having their champagne and caviar together when they're not on camera. But they make it seem like they're at each other's throats. But it can't. But just because like it's fake, I mean, it maybe not be fake, but it's fixed. It's fixed. Maybe more accurately, it would say it was fake. It's because I know in wrestling you say it's fixed, it's not fake. But maybe in podcasting and in this internet kind of arena that everybody's in, and it's more almost fake than fixed. But they are all doing a show. They're not really like necessarily always being who they are. They're putting on like a performative, and like, because I always thought like the people on the news networks, like, how are we going to trust the news when it has to go through 20 people to whoever goes out, and you know the real truth isn't coming out. And we always thought independent media with podcasters, the truth would come out because we're seeing them like live. We're seeing them like unfiltered. We're seeing the whole thing. But most of these podcasters are showing you what they want you to see, especially ones that record it and then put it out there as opposed to live. I think everything needs to be live. Otherwise, like, I like Sean Ryan. He's another name I'd throw in there. Like, I like what he does, but we're not seeing his conversation in its entirety. They're being edited. Even Joe Rogan, we're not seeing it all. We're not seeing what everything happened, because afterwards they're like, well, that made you sound kind of crazy and kind of dumb. Maybe we'll scratch that. And it's just, they're feeding you something, what they want you to see, as opposed to what the truth is. I think we can be like, this is all the truth. You take what you will, and I'm not locked in that I have to be this forever. I can change my viewpoint. I can change what I think. We're not all just NPCs. So there are some, you know, real playable characters in this world, you know? And I think the more that you kind of wake up, stop being a statue. I have my daughter calling me. I don't know why she's calling me. I'll have to call you later. Or I don't know if that noise is coming in through to you. Okay. I told because I even if you put stuff on Do Not Disturb, it like people, you know, your family will still come through. But I know she's safe. She's okay. But I'll figure that out. All right. We'll wrap this up. I wanted to kind of get into these three and kind of dissect them. These are the ones that I care about the most. These are the ones that are interesting. I hope they're not just a fad, you know. But it's like, no matter how high you climb up the mountain, no matter how high you reach to the top, if you don't come to it as, I'm satisfied, I'm content, maybe not satisfied, but I'm content. Be content as going up the mountain, whatever kind of thing you're going through and you're striving towards, be content through it and enjoy the journey, because once you get to that that mountaintop or that end of the rainbow, you're never going to be satisfied, because there's always going to be something else that you, and if you compare yourself to others, you'll just feel like crap. And that has what I have found, that like comparing myself, because that's what you naturally do. Like I want to improve myself. So I want to see what other people who have been successful do it. But then you come away, you're like, man, they're really good. I suck. And you don't progress and grow. I think it's just that we got to like have just a wise understanding of our perspective and the way that we view the world. Because if we walk into everything and we just think, I want what that person has, or I want this over here, I want to be Tom Brady and I want a Super Bowl. Well, you get that Super Bowl, the Super Bowl means nothing because you just want the next one. And it's like, you want the next one. You want to go higher. And then you feel like utterly defeated and like crushed if you fall a few pegs. I think we can, this isn't the end all be all. We're all growing, we're all striving. And I think what is, for me, it's been really toxic is that a lot of people think that there's just no graciousness in this kind of environment because everyone's cutthroat. Even though everybody's on their own, doing their own thing, people don't want other people to succeed. I don't ever want to be a person, because I have had times in my life where I wanted something not to go well for someone. And then and I got it, like it didn't go well for them. And then right after that, like terrible things happened to me. I don't believe in karma, but I do believe in God. And God can use what we consider as karma to kind of teach us a lesson. So it's like, if you have evil in your heart, which we all do, and we all need to snuff it out. We don't want to let it grow or infest or, circulate throughout our body. We need to stop it. We need to, cut it off, pluck that eye out, cut off that arm. Don't let it go spread. We need to stop it, because if we don't, we will be eaten up by evil and hatred. And I think that's the biblical mandate. Sin is crouching at the door. Don't let it have mastery over you. All right, we'll leave it at that. These three are interesting. What do you all think? Are these three people in your world at all? Let me know. Drop a comment, smash that like button, and have a good rest of your weekend. See y'all.